What up, y'all? It's your boy, the one and only A-Switch, a.k.a. the Komake Tiger Dropper, a.k.a. Mr. Crispy without the cream, a.k.a. the undisputed, undefeated, uncontested social distance champion, a.k.a. somebody get a plastic bag for this motherfucker. Cause he too clean. Let me stop. What was that? I don't know. Bringing you yet another episode of Switches Sites, episode 121, 121, uno, dos, uno. That's not how you say it, but you know what? I'm gonna go with it though. Yeah. For those that don't know, Switches Sites podcast is the podcast where we talk about video games on a solo format. Yeah. Today's date is September. I don't know why that stripped me up. September 16th, 2021. Yeah. So, I mean, every damn episode, I'll be saying the world is horrible, and a lot. Look, I'm gonna just touch on it because this could be a whole damn thing in of itself, if I'm being frank. But, yeah, man. Man, that whole Nicki Minaj situation. Whew. Influence is a dangerous ass thing, let me tell you, because my God. That's all I'm gonna get into on that, but I'm gonna be as weirdly vague as I can. It's something about a friend's cousin and some balls was really big because of the vaccine. I totally understand people that don't want to take the vaccine, sure, but it comes to a point where it's just misinformation, just to misinform, which I think is very dangerous. But I digress. Some huge testicles, but I think it ended up being like the dude had a sexually transmitted disease or something like that, and that actually was that. So maybe I don't think he does have big balls like elephant. I think it's elephantitis. What is the elephantitis balls or something like that? I don't know, but either way, hey man, I mean, just do some research. I don't know. Actually do research. Don't say you're doing research. Not do the. That's. Let me just leave it at that. Let me just acknowledge. Looking kind of. I did get the haircut the other day. You know. Let me stop. Yeah. So, at least gaming news wise, nothing necessarily, well, I mean, depending on how you interpret it, substantial, but I mean, it's some very fairly juicy deets. Some fairly juicy deets for this week that I think will be, if not anything but interesting. So, without further ado, let's stop the dilly-dallying, get right into it, and let me find my codes so I can put my stuff in. Okay. First topic of discussion, Geforce Now. For those that don't know, Geforce Now is like more or less a streaming service, similar to, I guess, PlayStation Now, Stadia. I mean, man, I've not heard barely you barely hear Stadia in a positive light since its release. Well, I mean they've kind of been doing it to themselves either way, but I digress. Um, yeah, so basically, GeForce Now is a streaming service that lets you stream video games over the internet to your respective devices, whether it be. I don't think you have to have a GeForce graphics card. I think you could technically use almost anything. I know you can also stream to the NVIDIA Shield as well. So you do have a fair amount. I think they also are trying to at least roll out. I believe it's Samsung where they're rolling out NVIDIA GeForce Now, the app, and like are having it stock with new TVs coming out going forward. So I mean the options are there if you if you want to look at them. They right in front of you if you're trying to look. But yeah, so with all that in mind, apparently this is by of course the infamous Reddit subreddit gaming leaks and rumors. So of course, by all means, grain of huge ass salt. But I believe this ultimately came from a more or less hacker debugger where you know it's funny how much we're evolving over the years in terms of being able to like discertain various codes and texts and stuff, and like, oh crap, oh they added see, they added new DLC right here under our noses. So apparently that was the case in terms of the database for GeForce Now, which had a lot of various games that are at least haven't been announced for sure, but are surprising in and of itself in terms of not coming to the platform either way. So it's a lot. So I'm just gonna sift through at least some of the more notable things. At least specifically, according to this thread, they have it segmented by company, and at least starting with PlayStation, Uncharted, Legacy of Thieves. So like some of these are already announced coming to PC, so that makes sense. But some have yet to be announced to be coming to PC, like Horizon Forbidden West, Deracine. I think that was the Bloodborne spin-off VR game. God of War, Returnal, Demon Souls. So if anything, this definitely gives some sort of indication that potentially these are going to come to PC at some point, even though they haven't been announced yet. But considering, you know, a lot of the PlayStation exclusives are slowly trickling to PC, it does kind of make sense in that respect. So Sackboy, Ratchet and Clank, they don't specify. It's safe to probably assume that it's I know Rift Apart requires like you have to have like a PCIe Gen 4 SSD to even play that game. So I mean, probably it's that requirement, even though I don't think it's been rolled out. But I guess maybe because it's GeForce Now, maybe they can work around it and just have that tech at their server farm, whatever server farm this is being hosted from. So maybe it's still possible. Ghost of Tsushima, and then from Microsoft, Gear 6. I mean, which is kind of somewhat of a more or less given. I think it's kind of a thing where they confirm that I think it is coming, but you know, of course, it's not been more or less formally announced, but it's safe to assume that it's more than likely going to happen. So I could believe that, especially how 5 ended as well. Halo 5 Guardians, that's a little weird because it technically I think 343 went on like record that they said that Halo 5 isn't coming to PC or something along those lines. I want to say so. Maybe it could happen. I mean, at least specifically, this could possibly refer to the. I know Halo 5 has a. It's weird. Like on PC, you can actually have like a modified client that lets you play. That lets you play the specifically the what is the mode called? Forge. The Forge mode where you can create maps and stuff and experiment, but you can't play like anything else. You can only just create maps, and that's pretty much it. Which is yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like, well, if you're halfway in there, might as well just just go all the way in. Just go in. Especially now with Infinite, that's gonna be also multi-platform on the Series X and PC. So interesting either way. Square Enix Final Fantasy VII Remake. So I think that's fair considering that at least it's rumored to be coming out on Epic Game Store. But you know, some of these can take a long time to eventually come out, or potentially could be that the developers or whatever just put these in here as placeholders temporarily because maybe down the line it will happen and they can just easily I don't know, make it live or something like that. At least that's what I would guess. Final Fantasy 16, Kingdom Hearts 4 which is interesting. I think has 3 come out on PC? Let me check that. I'm curious. Kingdom Hearts 3 PC. Oh yeah, I guess it is exclusive to Epic. Ah, damn you, Epic. Taking all these games that I'm not even gonna play, to be honest. At least probably when it actually comes out on Steam is when I'll maybe potentially even play it. So so yeah, it's safe to assume that I guess it's weird they have FF9 remake, which hasn't been announced or exists outside of maybe the recent Steam, but I don't think FF9 is included in that. I think those are only the old school Final Fantasy games 1 through 6. So that's weird. Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster, I know that's highly regarded and praised by a lot of people, so I could see that. Chrono Cross Remaster, interesting. And then of course Capcom Resident Evil 4 remake, which is all but, you know, confirmed at this point, highly rumored. Street Fighter 6, which is pretty much a given considering the what we've heard as well. Dragon's Dogma 2, Monster Hunter 6. So those seem to be pretty credible in terms of, at least rumor wise, at least the consistent stream of rumors in terms of like those actually being released. So I could believe that. The GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas remasters, which again were also rumored. Bioshock RTX remaster, which is, that's interesting. That does kind of give some credibility, at least to this leak slightly, considering for Bioshock, you know, that just sounds like something Nvidia would have with the, specifically, you know, the RTX technology of ray tracing and stuff. So Bioshock 22, that's it. So I mean, it's understandable that some of these are just straight up placeholders, but it's weird. Probably the biggest thing for me was Titanfall 3. I don't know. I felt like I thought EA was pretty stingy when it comes to like sourcing out their stuff. But I guess they don't have their own platform to stream games and stuff. So maybe that could be true. But yeah, that's going to be crazy if that is true, because, you know, I think definitely Apex Legends helped a lot in terms of giving Titanfall the resurgence it well deserved and needed. But this is probably the one I want to happen the most, to be honest. Tekken 8 for Bandai Namco. I think that's a given. I'm definitely excited for that if it's true, but I mean it feels like it's a given. It's like fighting games seem to be the most safe in terms of likelihood. I mean, I can't even wholeheartedly say that, but I feel like it's a given, especially how 7 ended as well. Crisis 4, Earth Defense Force 6, yes. I'm one of one of 3 people that like yes, Earth Defense Force 6, let's go. That makes sense, especially of course since the previous Earth Defense Force, at least 4 and 5 have hit Steam as well. So a little weird from Sega, Bayonetta 3, which I think technically it would be possible, because I think it would only be it would maintain the presumed console exclusivity with Nintendo, and technically would let them release it on PC, but I think it would be way down the line after 3 came out on the Switch, before it actually got a PC port, kind of similar to Monster Hunter Rise. So that's still weird. I guess that could work. I don't know, that just seems weird. But I mean, yeah, we don't even have 2 on PC. I think just the first one. I think 2 is still exclusive to Nintendo. Yeah, the Wii, on the Wii U and the Nintendo Switch. So, and then Judgment, which is also weird because of the whole I know we've talked about it before, the whole kerfuffle in terms of like Japan's weird agency that the main protagonist Yagami from Judgment is this weird, I guess, I don't know, contract clause, whatever, where they don't want his likeness to be in a PC game, but it's okay to be in a console game. But all right. And I think that's why they explained why the PC port, or there isn't a PC port for Judgment. And potentially, I don't know, that people are thinking that this one might be the last one, but I don't think so. I think worst case, it'll be weird where they might recast Yagami or maybe replace him somehow, I guess. But yeah, that's a little on the I'm not sure about that side, but I don't know, maybe again this is just, it seems to be a placeholder. We'll see. I don't know. Catherine Full Body from Atlas, Shin Megami Tensei 5, no Persona 5 on there, which is a shame because man, that game is great. Batman Arkham Knight RTX remaster, which is, I'm curious what this will imply in terms of if they actually promoting this to be a straight up remaster, or maybe something exclusive for, I guess that would make sense to be exclusive for the Nvidia platform, where you can probably Nvidia and the, if you have a Nvidia graphics card as well. So Half-Life 2 remastered, I'm not sure about that one. That that raises doubt. That's a little on the doubt side. Anything else notable? Injustice 3, Gods Will Fall. That's also a little weird considering, at least to our knowledge, is that NetherRealm are actually making Mortal Kombat 12 instead of the cadence of Mortal Kombat Injustice, Mortal Kombat Injustice. So that's a little weird. I mean, it's possible though. A little weird. Destroy All Humans 3, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 HD. I could kind of see that. They already have the port that's on the 360 and PS3, and recently they like randomly released Konami released, I think, Silent Hill 4 on was it Green Man Gaming or Good Old Gaming, GOG. And then I think the first Metal Gear, they ported the first Metal Gear to PC recently, I think within the last 2 years or so. So I would like it. I think that's possible. It would be cool if, you know, they brought that to PS5 4 as well. I could see that though. Anything else that's at least new? It stands out. Yeah, they say this term Mortal Kombat Next Gen and Mortal Kombat 12, which I think that's likely. Modern Warfare 3 Remastered. I think that's a given as well. Ultra Street Fighter 2 The Final Challengers, which was a Switch exclusive. That's a little weird, I guess, to bring the. I would assume it's probably being brought simultaneously across other platforms as well. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order. So, I mean, some interesting aspects, some interesting games that potentially might happen. Again, this is with a grain of salt. A little Mike Tyson, grain of thought. Grain of thought. Yeah, so they do, you know, reiterate that these games can be canceled, used for testing data or something in the future. Because I think they also had in this massive database leak was also like stuff like Photoshop and stuff, which I think technically wouldn't discredit these rumors, because I mean, in some scenarios that would make sense in terms of like, let's say maybe not Photoshop, but let's say like Adobe Premiere or something. Maybe you could, you know, on a weak ass Chromebook or something, you can actually stream that and, you know, do work remotely or something like that. So again, considering the technology, I think this doesn't dismerit anything in terms of that, but at the same time, this could also be a bunch of malarkey. A bunch of malarkey. I just felt compelled to do that. I guess what is kind of sad. No Bloodborne. My God, what do we have to do? Whose nipple do we have to suck at Sony to get a damn Bloodborne PC port or PS5 version? Damn it, I'm willing. I'm willing. Okay, just tell me who. Just tell me who. Spider-Man or The Last of Us, Last Guardian as well. So at least none of those aren't on this database in terms of games that potentially could be ported to the PC, and at least in turn Geforce Now. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens from this. If, you know, some of these games actually start getting announced, they're like, oh, all right. But at the same time, it's like some of these are kind of a given already. So it's like, you still need to maintain a form of salt just in case. You just gotta, when we start hearing some of these games being announced, you You just get that salt out your pocket and you just rub it together like So what are you doing? I mean, hey, I'm I'm just speculating, that's all. So pretty cool either way to look into the future, 20 years from now when all these games will actually finally come out. I am totally not being serious about that, but anyway. Moving on. Next topic of discussion, which is Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch. A Nintendo that switches. Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch got a new firmware update because we we love that stability. Give me that stability. So at least with this new update is probably one of the biggest substantial updates in a while. At least specifically, we finally get motherfucking Bluetooth. It's a good day. It's a good day. It's a good. I'm venting for it so hard, even though I know I'll barely use it, but at least in the very rare instances where I actually take my Switch with me on the go, it is pretty nice to at least know you'll have a convenient means to connect to it without having to, have at least most headsets, headphones nowadays are wireless. So now you got, I gotta get a cable that plugs to the headset to go into the damn Switch and then play it that way. I don't. That's what I'm doing when I'm traveling or whatever. With the damn it, just that's literally every time I pop up the Switch. I'm just damn. It's like, are you okay? I'm good. I'm just switch this damn Switch had Bluetooth, but now I don't have to do that anymore. So specifically with the Bluetooth functionality. Because the Nintendo Switch actually does use Bluetooth for controllers and whatnot. So, and I think a lot of people did speculate, it's kind of weird that, Nintendo Switch does have Bluetooth functionality with the controllers and stuff, but doesn't use it for audio. I don't think like the PlayStation or the Xbox have, I think they technically have some form of Bluetooth, but I think because you have other avenues for audio, they don't necessarily let you use them. But either way, for Nintendo Switch specifically, it was a little weird, especially, people were making third party solutions for I think the biggest notable one is the Genki that you plug into the bottom of the Switch, or I think they have an additional port you can plug on the dock and can get Bluetooth audio that way. So at least now that kind of potentially makes that defunct. But either way, we now get Bluetooth audio for the Switch. I haven't updated my firmware yet, but at least when I do, I'll be like, hey, yes, I don't have to do that anymore. But I think there's at least specifically stating what they say regarding it. Up to 2 wireless controllers can connect to a Nintendo Switch system while using Bluetooth audio. You will not be able to pair additional wireless controllers until you disconnect the Bluetooth audio device. Bluetooth audio will be disconnected during local communication, such as when starting a local wireless multiplayer game. So those are pretty fair, I say, trade-offs in the, scenario where, that would become an issue or a conflict. But I mean, I say, if anything, I think the biggest just get for this is the fact that you can have Bluetooth audio when you're on a plane or something or whatever, and, not have to what everybody fuck, my cable, fuck. Also, additional notes: only one Bluetooth audio device can be paired at a time. Up to 10 devices can be saved on a Nintendo Switch system. Bluetooth microphones cannot be used. So if it's like a headset that has headset functionality, like most commonly used for your phones, it will not be able to utilize that, which is slightly a bummer. That would have been cool. And of course, probably the biggest your mileage may vary announcement. Note, you may experience audio latency depending on your Bluetooth device. So, keep that in mind. I know I've saw, at least on Reset Era, there's like a thread of people testing various Bluetooth headsets and stuff to get a gauge on like, is this ideal, if this is not. It's kind of crazy. It's like a very surprisingly large spectrum of which devices work, like the most minimal lag. There is some lag, but not really noticeable. Very noticeable lag, and my God, this is you press the button and you like 5 seconds after you press it type lag. So your mileage may vary. Vary. Your mileage may vary. So pretty dope. Also, within this update, it seems to be setting up the baby crib for the Nintendo Switch OLED, aka the SWOLED. I'm always called the SWOLED now. That's Nintendo did that to themselves. So, with the SWOLED model, because the Ethernet dock is implemented in the dock itself, apparently there's going to be the update dock option for specifically that model, where I believe the main fix for that is to allow the Ethernet port on the dock to remain active while in sleep mode, which I know I kind of had that issue with my Switch, specifically with the USB to Ethernet adapter. I think it really depends on the adapter you get for it, because I got a different adapter and didn't have any issues with that sense, where essentially if you put if I will put the Switch in sleep mode with the problematic Ethernet USB to Ethernet adapter, when I would wake it up, it would default to wireless and wouldn't revert back to the Ethernet adapter. But then when I switched to a different adapter, I didn't have any issues. It would always revert to the Ethernet adapter. So, hey, at least if you get the SWOLED, have no fear. The SWOLED, I don't have no fear. The SWOLED in your ear. I don't feel like a rap. Have no fear. The SWOLED in your ear. I'm sorry, I had to do it. But hey, you know what? I'm all about that stability. That's the biggest takeaway from every substantial firmware update, is just that good old juicy, rock hard, solid stability. Hey, I love me some stability. I don't know about you, but I love me some good old juicy stability. Let me stop. So yeah, hey, the world is becoming a better place. The Nintendo Switch has Bluetooth audio. It's funny. I saw just a horrible jab at God bless its soul, the PS Vita, where basically, damn it, one thing the PS Vita does not have over the Switch now that the Nintendo Switch can do Bluetooth audio. So Y'all just it's already in the grave, but no, y'all just want to keep putting dirt on it. I mean, you gotta put dirt on it to bury it. But what I'm saying is that it's already buried, and then you putting dirt on top of it when it's already buried. It's like, why you got to do that? Leave it alone. Let people rest. Sorry, I just had to clear the air. So, okay, keeping on that Nintendo Switch train. Choo choo. That should not get me, but it does. It really does every time. Oh, is that a helicopter, plane? I don't even know anymore. Could be alien ship. Could be an alien ship. The new Nintendo Switch controller patent has been filed, and at least what it kind of potentially could lead to is kind of interesting. Specifically, so basically, the patent for this model is basically a new game controller that was registered today by Nintendo. That at least specifically the model of it, which to give you a little bit of a background, the HAC 022, which was the ring con for the Ring Fit Adventure, the ring thing you put, where you put the Joy-Con on and you squat and you squeeze it. I don't know why. Hey, you gotta squeeze it. Then you got the HAC 042, which was the wireless SNES controller for, of course, the implemented. I forgot what they called it. I think they called it Super Nintendo Online, or Famicom, depending on whatever respective region you're playing your Switch, or if you if this isn't like hidden knowledge or anything, but if you have a Switch and you maybe possibly made another account for a different country, let's say, I don't know, Japan, you may potentially get access to a different set of games from there for free. That's common knowledge or known knowledge. So it's nothing illegal or whatever. So I don't know why I'm speaking like this in code, but maybe because I feel like it's kind of illegal, but it's not. It's not. It's totally fine. So, but yeah, so at least before that, which is the model for the SNES controller, mind you. And then at least what the new patented controller is, the HAC 043, which of course obviously is the next step up from the HAC 042. I'm sorry for people who just, I'm sensing this is one person that just tunes out because of, it's too much jargon, I can't. But yeah, so at least what this definitely potentially hints at is that we could possibly get a motherfucking Nintendo 64 controller Joy-Con. That's crazy. Like, we've been waiting. We've been waiting for it, it's been a lot of I'd say fervor for like Nintendo 64, whether it be the damn Nintendo 64 Mini or Nintendo 64 Virtual Console. I guess that's the, at least, code word name for the assortment of games that more than likely will have like some emulation to emulate the 64 games on the Nintendo Switch. So considering at least technology wise, it definitely makes sense. I guess just now is a matter of time. I guess maybe they could potentially skip the 64 and go to the GameCube, but either way, it would be I think it would be a genuine win regardless. Would be actually, I think, give Nintendo Switch Online more, credibility in terms of its online component or offering, where it does have it feels like the bare minimum, where you can play online games, as well as you get kind of similar to PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Gold, where you get free games and stuff. But to be honest, this games you could get by some various other means. I mean, but it is convenient. But then there's like games that you don't necessarily care about. I mean, maybe eventually you get some really good stuff, but more often than not, it's very forgettable titles and games that at least the general consensus, I don't think necessarily will. Oh man, I'm so glad I got Nintendo Switch Online for this. Yes, but no, it just doesn't work out like that. So, yeah. So, all in all, hey, the potential is there. So, I guess time will tell in terms of if this actually comes to fruition. Let's get that No Mercy. No Mercy 2021. We need it. All right. Don't trust me. We need it. Yeah, so we'll see. They made this patent and completely do nothing with it. So I mean, I think that's happened. That does happen with a lot of patents too. So I mean, not to discredit anything or like dishearten any hopes or dreams, but that is also a possibility. But I mean, it seems pretty likely that if not a Nintendo 64 Joy-Con setup, or I guess controller, would be cool. A little weird. You put I think somebody made some like concept art of what it would kind of look like if it were to actually be a thing, which is pretty funny. But I mean, I wouldn't hate it. It'd be weird if you used it like as a single controller. Like I think barely anybody does, but I mean, if it looks good, I mean, if it looks good, I'm all right. I'm all right with it. So here's to Nintendo 64 potentially, I don't know, maybe being something. I'm not sure when we'll find out. Maybe February, if I would guess. If I rub my crystal ball that I don't have, I'm just making out of air. It would. Maybe that's when it would happen. But we'll see. Oh man, I forgot. Especially the ongoing chip shortage and whatnot. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. And yeah. So moving on. If I can move my damn cursor, that'd be great. Speaking of firmware updates, PlayStation 5, the official M.2 firmware update has been released to the public. Yes, it has. It's great. So basically, this is pretty much the beta that a lot of people got into, including myself, that essentially unlocks the M.2 slot on your PS5 to further enhance the storage capabilities of your console, to further unlock the hidden potential and power of your console. So now you're playing with full power. I don't know why I got to. I just turned into a pastor at that point. But the power of the PS5 is a great one. Okay, the power that you get may not be the power that she gets. Let me stop. So yeah. So at least from what I researched about it, it seems to be a lot a lot of the same features that was in the beta. Nothing at least new from the beta that I noticed at least. So more or less the PS5 M.2 slot is unlocked. So, you know, put whatever you want. Let me rephrase that. Don't put whatever you want in it. Put what you should put in it, you know. I don't know why that felt sexual, but I didn't mean it to, but you know what? I'm gonna live with it. I'll live with it. Okay, I'll live with it. So I didn't really mean it, but it just started coming off that way. But all right. Yeah, so hey, if you got a PS5, I mean, prayers out to people that's still fighting, still shooting people in the neck for one. I get it. Well, whenever you do get one, just know you should probably get a M.2 SSD with it as well. I mean, if you're that type of person. I hear there are people that just, I don't know who you are, but maybe that, I guess people that just like actually play a game, and when they're done with it, they delete it off their hard drive. That's weird to me. How do you do that? What if you want to go back and play it? I'm speaking specifically on multiplayer games, but yeah. So hey, the option is there if you want it. If you want to go that route. So, but trying to recall the biggest, I guess, additions outside of the M.2 implementation. I think the trophy tracking, that's pretty substantial, where you can literally, if you're trying to get a particular trophy, it'll tell you the progress you're making, depending on the trophy, which I think is pretty dope. You can hide icons, like hide various icons as well, like of the game bar. You can also reorganize the icons, so you can somewhat of a workaround to the, you know, at least cumbersome, like forcing yourself to relearn your muscle memory when it comes to the PlayStation, where you can try to make it somewhat more convenient to like turn it off or put it in rest mode. So I'm trying to think, was there anything like, oh yeah, fucking trophies are actually freaking vertical now instead of horizontal. Like, who thought that was a good idea? But all right. Anyway, either way, rejoice, PlayStation 5. We get more of that. We keep getting that stability. We keep getting it because we want it and we need it. You know? Good old stability. It's like I feel dirty and comforted at the same time. Yeah. So with all that said and done, that concludes the news for this week. That good old stability. Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't resist. So yeah, let's get into what I've been playing, which has been, you already know, you already know, Persona 5 Royale. Whew. Boy, I mean, where do I start? I feel like I'm talking about my significant other at this point. Man. So at least so far, I'm like pushing 80 hours right now. So I think I'm almost done. That's weird to say out loud. Like I'm pushing 80 hours now, but I think I'm almost done. Man, this game is fantastic. I totally understand everybody's sentiments when this came out initially. I think in 2017, at least now, which is I'm kind of glad I did wait because I'm playing the updated version that has a couple of well, I guess depending on how you look at it, fairly decent additions to the game too, which I think I may have touched on before last time we talked about it. But, whew, man, this game is really good. I'd say I haven't even finished it yet, and it's like probably, yeah, definitely top 5 traditional RPGs of all time. I think I'm gonna wait it out, but I mean I'm saying at least so far from what I've been playing, it's definitely looking like it. So man, just I'm gonna try to not repeat myself in terms of some new additions. At least I've come across and noticed. I think I touched on the emphasis on like relationship building in terms of basically they're your key to getting a lot of additional aspects and elements that help you out within the traditional gameplay of the game. Where did I go? It was some trip that his school went to. At least I'm at the part now where actually there's a summer break where you you actually don't go to school, but it's kind of messed up. I'm like, oh hell yeah, now I can use all that time to do the various aspects of the game, like building relationships as well as like building your knowledge guts and stuff like that. But it kind of restricts you still, where you're like presumably going somewhere in the morning. I'm like, damn it, I could use that time to be talking to people and building relationships, but it's fine. It's fine. I have maxed out 2 confidants so far. I don't know if they people claim that you can max out all your confidants. There's like 20, I think, and at least that process feels like it takes a long time, especially on top of juggling the multiple confidants as well in terms of building your relationship with them. So yeah, I guess I could see it. I guess I don't know, just depending. But there are some various like characteristics they unlock that do make the game easier and makes it more efficient for you to do other stuff, and in turn I think kind of repay itself more or less. So yeah, I'm gonna try my hardest to do it, but it's hard to fathom that. But I don't know, I think some confidants actually do rank up faster, but all in all, hey, I'm enjoying it, especially their sub stories, so you get to know more about them. They be going through some stuff, man. I guess I'll put slight spoilers for a particular confidant in Persona 5 Royale. So basically, one of the confidants, I think her name is Kawakami. She's your homeschool teacher in the game. So basically, she's your homeschool teacher in the game, but you come to find out that she's actually doing a side job as a maid, and I say quote unquote maid, if you get my drift, in terms of the, I guess, Japanese meaning of maid, quote unquote. So it's some funny antics that definitely come into play, but she's it's a very fun sub story side, confidant string, if you will, that just one of the various elements that makes this game really great. Really great. Yeah, I just find myself addicted to the loop, the loop in a lot of ways. The loop of the relationship building, as well as the loop of the combat and grinding. It seems like it's a good balance where you kind of go back and forth between a relationship building kind of arc, and then like a traditional combat arc where you basically go into dungeons and stuff, which at least on paper you think it would be way more intimidating than it is, but actually just really fun and engaging, especially when you unlock some really dope stuff. Because that's one of the, I think, also really good aspects of this game is the delight of like unlocking some stuff. Like, damn, that is fucking useful as hell. It's like, I forgot one of the recent ones I got where basically after talking with this one person, they give you an ability to switch party members in during the battle, which you can't do otherwise. So I'm like, damn, it's pretty dope. I need to start hanging out with these people more. So that's pretty cool. It's crazy how much, I swear, if there's one thing you do in Persona 5, is definitely build up them relationships with confidants, because they give you some powerful ass moves and like options, like doubling money in a battle, being able to skip a battle but to get all the credit of actually doing a battle. It's crazy how many elements come with these confidants, especially the more you rank up their relationship with them. So I am really enjoying it, and it's I think I may have talked about this before, but it's a really dope element where it's like, this is like one of the games where I was like, you know what, if this game didn't have combat, I could probably play this just solely the social aspect of it, the social simulation aspect of it, which is I found very interesting. So Persona 5, man, it is the truth. I am now enlightened in Persona. It's definitely interested me into well, at some point, whenever that is, to start playing the older games to some extent. But man, first time playing Persona game, I'm really enjoying it. It is really good. It is really good. I cannot praise it enough. So hopefully by next episode I will have beaten it. I think I will. I'm hooked either way. I want to see what happens. I really do. So it's good. It's really good. I can't praise it enough. I can't. The only other game I played outside of this one was the Lost Judgment demo. So man, interesting story with this, but at least first off, for this demo, I think it's still you can only get it through if you have a Japanese account on the PS Store. I'm gonna do a quick check right now. Lost Judgment demo. Yeah, that's weird. You think they would have it, but either way, again, using a similar trick like I told you about Nintendo Switch. If you happen to have a Japanese account, or make a Japanese account with a different email, and have that applied to your PlayStation, and log into said account, and go access the store on said Japanese account, you can actually, you ain't hear this You ain't hear this from me, but you can actually download the demo, which is for some strange reason only live on the Japanese store. Download it, and it is available in English, so you can play it that way. But again, don't I didn't tell you. It's probably the most public known knowledge, but people try. Hey, you didn't hear from me. I wish there was a character like that like the most common knowledge, and you didn't hear from me though. It's like everybody knows that. What are you talking about? He's still adamant. Okay, but you didn't hear that from me though. Either way, there is. I'm giving myself a headache. There is a. That is killing me. It's so funny to me. All right, sorry. I'm sorry about that. So specifically with that, there is a caveat though that I ran into that at least if you happen to go down this road, beware, because so when you go to get the demo, at least what I did last week, when you go to get the demo, it doesn't actually tell you what version of the game you got, whether it be the PS4 version or PS5 version. So there are two versions of the demo, PS4 version and PS5 version. So of course, what version did I get? Of course, the PS4 version, because I got a PS5. That's what you do. No, so I got the PS4 version without knowing it, and I was playing the game. I'm like, that's weird. I mean, I thought they bumped the frame rate from 30 to 60 FPS on this because it's the PS5 version, and they got more room to work with and whatnot. So it's like it's a little disappointing. And I literally played like pretty much almost the whole demo. I'm like, this is kind of disappointing. But I mean, I'm like, yeah, the gameplay is good and stuff. I was like, and then, I mean, it was pretty late at night. I was maybe a little tired. But still, I mean, they normally would they'll normally tell you it on, the PlayStation interface. I think that's one new addition to the new update is, it'll actually specify PS4 and PS5 and do a better job of differentiating those two versions of, if a scenario with a game that has multiple versions. So, with that in mind, I'm like, this is weird. I forgot how I figured it out. I think I ended up going back to the media dashboard. I think actually to actually see if like maybe it was my TV settings. But I'm like, I feel like maybe it might be my TV settings where I maybe set it to 30 FPS, or by whatever strange configuration reason it maybe defaulted itself to 30 FPS or something like that. So that wasn't the case, but when I did that, I was like, oh, the demo is PS4. Like, okay, damn it. I fixed it with the Switch, but now it's with the PS5. So I basically like manually selected the other option to the right of it, where I think, again, I wasn't able to visually see the difference, but I just did the next one to the right that was free and downloaded that demo. And then that was the PS5 version. And that one had 60 FPS and better graphics and fidelity and stuff. And I'm like, So then I literally played the whole demo again on the PS5 version. So kind of annoying, but I mean, hopefully they fix that on the Japanese PSN store. I think the US PSN store is fine, but then again, at least as far as I checked, it does not seem to be that the demo is live on their site, which is or the PSN store, which is kind of weird. Especially you think in the US is probably more of a push from a marketing standpoint to try to, I don't know, get people at least to play the game and get a feel for it. Even though I know reviews came out today. So either way, at least speaking speaking on the demo itself, I do enjoy it. I did enjoy it. I have some concerns about it, specifically kind of my issues with the first game of Judgment, where the how do I say, the tailing aspect, which is basically in Judgment, there's this it's called tailgating, where basically you're walking behind a person and you have to, try not to be too close to them, or, if they they randomly like always look back, or they, it's always funny how they like very purposefully telegraph them doing it, but I mean, it makes sense for the player too, but it's like, you look back like, oh, okay, I should probably look like I'm doing something. So yeah, so with that aspect in there, it's fun. I know the issue I had with Judgment was that they used that aspect too much, where it's like, okay, why do I have to tailgate everybody? It seemed like literally every investigation or case you did, you had to tailgate the person, and then after that, oh, let's get into a fight. Oh, you were telling me the whole time, and you fight after or whatever. But hopefully they take those into account. Yeah, I hope they tone down that, and hey, up that combat. I'm all for that. That was another aspect that I really liked. You do have they kind of bring back Yakuza 0 and Yakuza 6's kind of hybrid of combat, where you do have multiple styles, and they do have a really cool mechanic where I think it's called EX. I'm gonna just call it EX hard or something. EX hard mode, where they basically, when you hit like I think R2, it will let you like do swap your styles on the fly, like you could somewhat do in the Yakuza Kiwami game, which makes it really, really interesting in terms of a combat perspective, in terms of like, trying to find out which strings, how you can like juggle people and stuff like that, which, hey, there's one thing about me, I'm a juggle. Okay. If it's one thing about me, I'm a juggle. So, hey, you put some juggles in the game. Hey, I'm there day one. You hear me? I'm there day one. So yeah. So I think there's a third fighting style you get, but I don't think they showed that in the demo. But at least they gave you a taste of the two fighting styles. I think his general fighting styles from the first game. So I'm digging it. I'm digging the fight styles. Does incorporate it seems to be a more fair blend of the Yakuza 6 physics, where at least in Yakuza 6 they felt very people felt very floaty, in terms of like when you beat their ass, like the minute their health goes to 0, they like just flop in the air or bounce in very random places, where it's a little too unrealistic. But it seems like in this game they kind of made it a little bit more grounded. I don't know, maybe they just did like plus 20 in gravity or something after they, get defeated, which is, I think it's more realistic, more fair, and more, in turn, I think a little bit more enjoyable. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, if they bouncing up in the sky and then fall after, I mean, that's entertaining too, but I don't know. I'd kind of like a balance of both, or more on the realistic side than the you get bounced in the sky like Skyrim or something. So then they had a new element or aspect to the game. It's like what is it called? Well, stealth. Basically, it's stealth segments, which I'm pretty sure the first one didn't really have. But basically, straight up stealth segments where you're creeping and you don't want to get caught. I'm not sure. I didn't alert the person that I would assume it just would initiate combat and then you move on from there, which as somebody who I don't know, it depends on the game where I'll be more encouraged to do stealth than like, hey, I'll try to be stealthy, but if I don't, I'm hitting somebody. That's the motto you should have in stealth, But it seems like it potentially is going to be like that, where if you do get spotted, hey, all right, you caught me. Now I'm about to beat your ass or something like that. So I'm totally fine with that if that's the case. But so yeah, I hope they don't like replace that with the tailgating stuff and put more of that stuff. I could see it being either way. Either like I do like it and they do some interesting stuff with it, or it just becomes like kind of an artificial placeholder similar to the tailgating stuff where they're just overusing it and just, adding it to add it and not like actually, I don't know, give it some substantial reason to have it in, if that makes sense. So, outside of that, of course, they it ain't a Ryuga Gotoku game without some chase segments, where that's definitely was in here. They had the run and chase segments where you're chasing a person and you got to dodge, press the button prompt to dodge or jump over people and stuff, which is fine. I'm a fan of those too, but they didn't do that too much in Judgment. Actually, I wouldn't mind if they notch it up like +2 in this one. So outside of that, had the cool co-op attacks with I forgot the dude. I call him I want to call him damn Dollar Store General Kiryu so bad, because at least his moveset in the game feels a lot like it, but I mean, that's the only way I could compare him, though. Either way, you could do co-op attacks and stuff with him when he's at least with you. I think he's gonna have his own separate DLC after the game comes out too. So that'll be cool. So I definitely see them expanding his moveset either way, regardless. So all in all, I guess at least the reviews are definitely pretty good for the game, at least from what I saw earlier. I'm getting 10 out of 10s, 5 out of 5s. So at least from what I played, I'm ready. I think it's coming out next week. So I'll probably complete Persona 5 just to get right into Judgment. So leave 100-hour game to another 90-hour game. Or at least if you do all the side stuff, which is probably the best stuff or elements of a Ryuga Gotoku game. So there it goes. Yeah, all in all, I really enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. I'm definitely looking forward to, oh yeah, I forgot the story, man. It was like started off with a dude that was like left somewhere and decaying and maggots. It was horrible. But I'm like, I want to know more. Like, please purchase the full game to experience the story. So I guess we'll see. It is also coming out on Xbox Series X as well as the PlayStation platform. So keep that in mind as well, which is technically a first for at least Judgment. I know the first Judgment. I think the first Judgment is on Game Pass, or you can play it free. I think this upcoming weekend you can play it free. Judgment Game Pass? I'm gonna put a question mark. Judgment Game Pass? At least as far as June 25th, it says hinted. Yeah, I'm pretty certain it'll eventually come to Game Pass, but at least as far as I think you can definitely get it. Let me see, because we gonna push that Ryu ga Gotoku agenda. Yeah, so it is available at least on Xbox, so you can either buy it or digitally. So okay, so yeah, Lost Judgment. I gotta do it. Lost Judgment. And it was cool. Yagami on a title screen. It was just Yagami in the rain with a cat. It was great. It was great. Also, like how it starts off is like a very how do I describe it? It's like a it's like a Japanese karaoke background video. Is literally like I think the starting title introduction where it's like everybody's emotional music, and then like they're doing nonchalant stuff and getting caught unexposed by the camera, so they're like looking off into the sunset, or uh they're always in despair, or they're always it's probably some trope for it, but either way it is great. It's great. We need more of that in video games, at least. So I could have swore like Yagami was eating a sandwich and he's like, oh. He's probably like, this don't got no cheese. Let me stop. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing. Let's get into what I've been watching real quick. Marvel's What If. At least this week's episode was What If Killmonger. I forgot the official title, but basically, what if Killmonger actually succeeded? I guess, where basically is a alternate. I guess spoilers for Marvel's What If, but basically it's what if Killmonger saved Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, from the attack in the 2008 movie, where I think that's ultimately how he ended up getting the shrapnel in his chest, and then ultimately replacing it with a core or whatnot. But yeah, it basically takes that and runs with it, where Killmonger saves Tony Stark, and Tony Stark's hey, make this man, he's the top head CEO of the CCO of the company, make him do it right now. It's like then he's like, Mr. Stark, I'm just a soldier. I wasn't even trying to be. No, buddy, you're gonna be the CCO. And then he plays the mind games and like tricks him. He's like, hey, your guy here, the one dude, a box of scraps. What's his name? I forgot his name, but basically I think the guy who ended up being the villain of the first Iron Man movie, basically exposed his ass, where he was trying to deceive you and blah blah blah, and he he brought up the receipts. He like, oh shit, like, yeah, you did that shit. So then basically got his ass arrested, and then like, oh, Killmonger, man, all right, yeah, you have to be my right hand man, running dog or whatever. And then basically pretty much come to a point where he uses that plan to eventually kill Black Panther and Rhodey, and I don't know. It felt a little predictable, a little too predictable for my taste. It was like, come on, he's Killmonger. It's part of me thought maybe he'd be good or something, but no. I was like, after some of the deception and the hints, I'm like, okay, he's gonna eventually succeed, and that's gonna be it. And it ultimately ended like that, but they left it open for like a continuation of it, which I'm very curious to see if that's gonna be the, I don't know, kind of theme for this like series, is if they're like each new season is gonna maybe potentially continue episode from the previous season or something like that, which I'll be totally down for that. At least specifically for last week's episode with the old zombie twist on everything. I totally wholeheartedly accept it. But yeah, I say this episode is definitely the weaker of the weaker episodes. I don't know. It just felt a little too predictable for me. I don't know. It was like, yeah, we know he's eventually gonna be the top, and I don't know. I felt like that kind of took away the luster from me. I would have been more interested in seeing him actually be, different take from Black Panther, specifically in regards to, I don't know, being good or whatever. But I mean, it was fine. It wasn't horrible. It's just I personally would have liked to see that take an angle rather than, something we've technically already seen before where he ultimately will conquer the world more or less, or is trying to, as far as the story is concerned. So all in all, okay. Not the best. It was okay. So I mean, still entertaining to watch either way, you could tell what's his name, Michael B. Jordan's you could feel definitely the Killmonger in this, which was it definitely did some interesting stuff, but all in all felt very just too predictable for my taste. But yeah. Also, of course, you you already know. I can't even do the theme song anymore. The Walking Dead. So this episode we actually see spoilers for The Walking Dead. I'm sorry for the two people that actually still watch it. The Walking Dead, this episode, basically actually we see the Reapers in terms of their hideout and kind of get to know them more. Where basically, has Daryl who eventually gets captured. And what do you know? Of course, the big surprise, the love interest that they, shoveled in last season, actually, of course, is one of the Reapers. Who would have thought? I never knew. Shouts out to Tony Baker for that, though. I never knew. Literally, I'm like, I never knew. So yeah, it was cool. It was like, okay, I guess I did see that coming. I don't know. She's a Reaper. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So, of course, it's like, well, it's weird because Daryl has plot armor, at least one of the most reinforced, hardest plot armors known to man, especially now knowing that he's going to have his own spinoff from this series with Carol. So it's like, okay, well, yeah, I think that's it. It's like, well, I already know how this is going to play out. So, but yeah, basically the episode, pretty much the main points was eventually, what do you know, Daryl, Daryl, he's so hard. He's so like cold and stoic. Oh man. Yeah, he's gotta be, yeah, I like his style. All right, Daryl, you're one of us. That's I'm very much paraphrasing what actually happened, but pretty much Daryl's previous love interest does some sweet talking to the head of the Reapers. I forgot his name. I want to say Earl, but I'm probably wrong. He had a very immaculate mustache. I'm very jealous. But dude gave off very pedophile vibes for sure. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, so basically she sweet talks the head of the Reapers, like, hey man, maybe me and Daryl used to fuck or whatever, but we don't anymore. But I know he's good. He doesn't work with them anymore. Blah blah blah. He'll be good for our group, man. And it's like, oh, okay, all right, but he must go through the test or whatever. And then they basically she's like, follow my lead, and then they burn the place where he's tied up, and then they eventually get out of it, and they're like, well, the gods have spoken, and you are the chosen one. So there's some very, very heavy religious like undertones with this group, at least the leader guy, where he's very, very religious. And so basically, he's now with the crew, and then they burn this other dude, like, hey man, I mean, as long as you don't turn your back on me, that's the only thing that I really despise and hate. If you turn your back on me, that's something I can't accept. If you turn your back on any one of our members, that's one of the things I really hate. And it's like, of course, there's one dude who shows a lot of evidence of turning his back on people. Who's like, hey, Dale, why is your back scratched up? He's like, the walkers almost got me, man. I ran away. So he's like, so you're you're telling me you turned your back on one of your members? Like, no, he was already dead, so I had to leave. Oh, so you did turn your back on your he basically grabs a dude and burns his ass, puts him in they had a bonfire going, throws his ass in the bonfire. And then, stomps on him, make sure he feels he feels the third degree. Make sure he feels every damn every damn fucking flame. Every damn flame. So his ass is burnt and dead. And like, I guess this is like, it seemed like every villain has to have this in The Walking Dead. I swear to God. And it's like I hate it, but I'm like, I'm used to it. So it's like, okay. I'm not really doing The Walking Dead justice right now, and I'm fully aware of that. But I was still entertained either way. Every villain has to kill somebody to prove a point, which I get to some extent, but it's like, okay, can we do something else? Can we like be more, I don't know, just devious about it? Let them like, hang around, or cut an arm off and let him like, fend for himself. I don't know. Something more creative, I guess, to make it more menacing. That like, oh man, he's crazy. He cut his arm off and just gonna let him bleed out like that. I don't know. Something. I don't know. Either way, I did enjoy it. So what do you know? Of course, Daryl is a Reaper now, technically. And he's not gonna, there's no way he's gonna, kill or turn his back on these Reapers that he just joined. He's Daryl. No, he's not gonna do that at all. He's not gonna help the our main characters and potentially resolve this whole plot of The Walking Dead, the final season. He's not gonna do that at all. So little predictable. I mean, I'm still interested to see, okay, all right, you're treading on very similar waters. So what are we gonna do here? Where are we gonna go from here? I'm very curious to see how they do that. So we'll see. We'll see. I keep complaining about it, but I'm still watching. So I mean, that's saying something. I think at this point, I just want to see it through. I really do. It's like I've invested so much in this series. It's like, I still want to see it through. I just want to see it through, Either way, that pretty much concludes episode 121 of Switches Sites. If you did like the show, feel free to like, rate, and subscribe on your various podcasting platforms. You can also catch this being recorded live on Twitch TV/aswitch on Thursday evenings. You can also catch the archive on youtube.com/aswitch on the following day, Fridays at 6 a.m. PST, 8 a.m. CST. These time zones, they tough. But yeah, until next time, y'all, get your game on. Oh yeah.
Nobody's safe.